Okay, I think I'll get started. Um, we've already had some interesting talks from OpenRS. We had the current yesterday with myself and Casey. We've just had the past from Lucy, Donna, and Mark. I'd like to say thank you to Lucy and Donna. I don't think Donna's in the room, but they have worked tirelessly to make a lot of helpful improvements to OpenRS, and their knowledge has been invaluable to helping make it more of a product than it ever was before. A lot of the work we're doing is trying to make it a bit more easy for new people to join. We didn't particularly like the experience that Donna had and that people at MOBIUS had, and we do not want that to continue to keep on happening. So these are some of the new things that we've got coming, and I think they're quite exciting. We've had a buzz around the office about what we could give to the community. So let's start. So I'll start with an introduction, then I'll move it through our products, sort of more short term. So you're looking at direct consortial borrowing, or DCB, interlibrary loan, or ILL, and sort of more a long-term plan for those two things. So firstly, the goal is to make an open sharing platform that adapts to you. We're trying to listen to as many people as possible, make something that can work for as many different solutions as possible. So we're trying to make it a piece-built model, so you can pick and choose which pieces you want to help you with your experience. This means that you can have your choice of LMS, you can have your choice of discovery, you can have your choice of hosting. We don't want to impart anything on you. You choose. These slides will be what we'll focus on at knowledge integration and in the OpenRS community over sort of the next 12 months of development. So we'll see you hopefully in Prague and see how we did. And then this presentation has come, so my name is Richard, probably should have said that at the top of the slides. I am the product owner at knowledge integration for resource sharing. In my time, I've been at knowledge integration for about a year. I've had a variety of different discussions with lots of different people, and all of this has come and given me what's in these slides, but it's not a complete picture. So if you've got anything that you think is missing from these slides, please do let me know. I'll be interested to hear what you've got to say. And if I'm weirdly squatting down, it's to make sure that I'm close enough to the mic. No, it feels weird because then it rests sort of here the whole time. I'm all right. So DCB is, as described in the previous talk, it's something that works as a hub in the middle of your consortium. It works with a set of connectors that will connect to your LMS. We want to make it so that your experience is pretty much like any other request. You don't notice if it's going to a different library or if it's coming internally. It's still all inside your LMS because it's a bit more of a slick way of doing things. But then there's always things that are on a sort of consortial level or a sort of higher level that will give you information interesting. So that's why DCB admin was produced for a consortial level. And then one level down from that, when the individual libraries got hold of or heard about DCB admin, they thought there's definitely things in here that we could use in our day-to-day lives. Please give us some functionality that would help. So one thing that comes up, which was in Lucy's presentation, we want a more seamless interaction between DCB and ILL. So at the moment, like the scenario could be the item isn't in your collection or it's not available, so it's all checked out, but the patron is in real need of that item. We want to be able to, if you click a button and that moves from DCB into ILL, and it goes and looks outside of the consortium to find whatever resource you'd like. ILL, the way that works at the moment is using Z3950 to look at requests outside of the consortium. We'd like that to be sort of bi-directional communication, so ILL could update DCB so that your patron isn't left in the dark going, what on earth is happening? We want it to be such that all of the, because there's different workflows between DCB and ILL, and so there should be, they're completely different models. So you want to be able to map one to the other, so both are understanding each other. And yeah, DCB acting as a hub in the middle for patrons to keep understanding. It would be quite cool to take what is probably 90 to say 98% of your requests are sorted within your consortium, because there's a huge amount of resources that's been shared. And then ILL is there for trying to deal with the long tail as best as possible. So as we said, admin for libraries. At the moment, the sort of current functionality is a custom library portal. So sign in for just what is in your library. It's the shared index for the consortium. It is staff requesting and walk-up requesting. So this is if a staff member needs to intervene, do a request, or if you've got a patron who isn't ready to use or doesn't want to use a discovery system, they would come in and they would do staff requesting. And then the walk-up requesting is if you walk up to any consortium inside of any library inside the consortium, as a patron, you'd be able to check out a book. Whether you are part of that library or not, the system would be able to work out and authorize you based on the fact that you are part of the consortium. So this is in beta testing at the moment with MOBIUS and GALILEO. Had some brilliant reviews so far, but there are some extra things that they'd like. So student worker mode, because they don't need to see sort of a full audit trail or request history. All they need to know is, can I complete requests? So a request only mode for them. Then better reporting. The first implementation, there is some reporting in there, but we'd like to get it up to the same scratch as DCB admin. Functionality is already there. It's fairly low-hanging fruit, but it's worthwhile putting on here. And then setting up DCB admin, setting up inside DCB admin. So if you've got a new library that comes in, you can set it up rather than having to come to us every single time and having a laborious process. Put it in your hands because you deserve to do it. Both DCB admin and admin for libraries, a lot of the premise behind them is give you the information. We know how the system works. We'll give you as much information as we have. Let's make your system work better with that information. Something that's come from talks recently is the idea. So at the moment, the way DCB works is only works if you have a connector. So if there's a connector set up, then you'll get all the bells and whistles and you'll be able to use your LMS to talk directly with the DCB service. But what we'd like is a bigger pool of people that are able to join the system. So this is probably going to be because NTIP doesn't have the same capabilities as the connectors, but it is a way to bring in more people inside your consortium. You've got to think about everyone and how do we include everyone. And this goes back to the giving you your choice. It just gives you a bit more flexibility. So this is something that we really want to improve on and bring in. So it's checking in, checking out, looking up items, looking up users and renewing items. Now, with this, we would be able to have a sort of intermediary ground between NSIP and building connectors, building new connectors, because the connectors are going to be your gold standard service. They're going to give you a lot more information inside your ILL, inside your LMS. I imagine the topic of many people, but thinking about natural language models. Casey, my colleague here, did a lot of work in this in his dissertation, and it makes a very good point. Why not make the experience more conversational? It's something like, give me patron requests for Sheffield Library between X date and X date, so I've got between twice there. That went into an error state, and then the system relays that back to you, and you don't really have to go and click through a UX in the same way. or a patron going, oh, I want a book at this library and I want it to be this requesting type. So whether it's staff requesting, whether it's a different type of requesting. A reporting dashboard. So this is something we already have reporting that's coming off in CSV, but it's nice to have a dashboard there as well. We definitely want to see this internally ourselves. So understanding what how many patron requests have come in, how many items were supplied, things that Donna was showing on her slides previously, we'd like that to be given to you as you go, rather than having to look in the back end somewhere to figure out how much what has happened. Success rate, average time of the status, so transit time, improved error handling and management, so you can see more upfront where the errors are coming from and give you solutions to fix them. Something we really want to do as best as we possibly can, because we don't want you sitting in error states any longer than you have to. Borrow supply ratio and average time of request. This is an exhaustive list. If there's any more that you definitely think should be on there, once again, let me know. I'm not precious about these exact. I thought they would help the imagination. So now to talk a bit about interlibrary loans. So interlibrary loans is a system that has been software that has been set up to work inside of Folio. So it is a Folio app. It has not gone through the process of community approval, but it is Sunflower ready. It is able to work on Eureka. This is something we want to do a lot more testing with Gil and MOBIUS as well. It is for there's a few different ways you can use interlibrary loan. It can have a shared index put into it, similar to DCB if you want to. So if you want to have it for your consortium, you can once again do it that way. And then also it has Z3950 to be able to look outside. So if you've got any endpoints for Z3950 servers, you'll be able to poll them directly to check their availability and holdings. This inside of ILL is where document delivery will sit. It's a bit more of a mediated request. So split out DCB as unmediated, trying to be as quick and as slick as possible. The system does a lot of stuff in the background to make that quicker. Whereas ILL is more mediated requests, peer-to-peer, times when you need to have a little thought and you need to have a little reflection, because these aren't quite as simple requests that are going through. So document delivery, the moment is projected to be in the process of making a PDF importer, an FTP connector between the borrower and the supplier to transfer the PDF. User-definable copyright terms, so a notice. I would like to get to a point where you can have CCC implementation in there, but I'm not going to promise that just at this point over the next year. And then UI UX pattern for the patron to accept those terms. So a separate interface where they accept, and then they'll get a link in order to be able to download, or one use case that I had yesterday, view a streamed piece of media. And then patron acceptance log, because these can be very useful and wanted by publishers. Next, it's request outside of consortium. The back end is already done. It's just the front end that's being completed at the moment. So you're looking at external bib records and holdings with a Z3950, and then a set of groups, because you'll have a vast number of people that could be in your network of possible people that you borrow from. You don't want to be sending out Z3950 requests to every single one of them every single time. That is going to annoy people. It's going to slow down service. So having groups to pick maybe on location. These are the people 5 miles close to me, 10 miles. These are the people in the state next door to me that I'd like to go to first. Things like people that you could want to do exchanges with free ILLs, so you can do load balancing. So at the end of the year, you end up in net zero, and subject orientated. And then orientating these groups based on priority. We also like to get to a point where these were decisionable. So you could say if it's a certain topic, go to the project, to the subject first before you go to the location. Task iteration, something we want to work on is not everyone will do a request-based system where they just take a request and they'll go start to finish with that request. Some people do a task-based system, so they'll be split down into, oh, I'm just going to do collecting things off the shelves, I'm just going to do shipping, which is perfectly fine. We want to help and like support that workflow technique. So having a way, you can already use the filters to search by status. So having a way for a UX pattern to be able to go through every request in that status and do quick actions on each item. So it's still going to take, you're still going to have to make decisions as you go through depending on the action, but some will be bulk. At the moment, you can only do bulk pull slips. So if you want to print out however many pull slips, you can assign dates and times and you'll be able to find them. Non-ISO 1866 suppliers. So this is very close to being in. This is something I'm quite excited about, and once again goes to the idea of let's try and patch as many people as possible. Let's try and do as much as possible. So this is for people who don't have an IR platform, who don't have any need for an IR platform. You could say the use case that I heard was botanical gardens. They'll have a set of books about the plants that they have or research that they might have done, but they have no need for an ILL system. But a student or a patron could still want those pieces of literature. So if you have their email address, put it into the system, you can click yes, I'd still like to do a request with those people, and it will send off an email. At the bottom of the email here, it's a bit blurry thanks to the screenshot, but those are links. So if you use the borrowing library, you've put a request out, your workflow doesn't look any different. It just comes up as if they are using the system on the other side. So it's got real supply in transit, and we have received it back, thank you very much, and no, I won't supply, so it goes on to the next person in the list. And then long term, so these are sort of bigger picture items that we definitely want to take our time with, because if you do them right, it's really going to take it more into being a product that people can use quickly and take up. We did a lot of work with Gil in their recent implementation and sitting there, and we went out to visit here again a couple of months ago. It allowed us to do both development work pretty much 24 hours a day. People were back home doing development work and we were doing development work here. But I'd rather that to be more of a seamless process. So this is thinking about sort of a UX UI pattern that allows you to go through all of the things that you need to do to set up a DCB. ILL at the moment is fairly simple to set up, but I'd love to do the same thing for ILL. So looking at setting up your host LMSs, looking at setting up your agencies, any suppression rules that you might have, policy mappings, shared index configuration, and then most importantly, a test, because you want to make sure that it has all gone correctly. So going through and testing each of these above items to make sure that they are set up as correctly as possible. This isn't to say that we're just going to leave it with you and say goodbye, but it is trying to sort of smooth over and make it a bit quicker for people. Yeah, we'll happily help you at any point throughout the process. And then directory is an app that we already have within ILL. This is similar to your address book. What we'd like to do though is, at the moment, your directory is personal to you. So you create the whole directory. You've got to have a list of people that you'd like to do an ILL with. We'd like it to be more that you put your information forward. So you can choose if you put your contact information in, if you put your open times in, and then give the user access control to be saying, do you want to have your information seen by other people or not, and which people or libraries would you like it to be seen by. Like that to be open source to allow for many nodes. So if you want to set up your own personal system, please do, and use Discovery in that way. And then if you want to join, we'll have our own personal node at Knowledge Integration. If you want to join us to make a network, fantastic, we'd love that. Would like to get to something that Lucy was talking about in her slides, which is more network to network, a state talking to a state and doing ILLs between the two of them. So a place to put your sort of resource sharing endpoints on, an opportunity for you to connect with, if someone has made themselves viewable, you to be able to click, oh, I'd like to do a request with you. Would you like to share that information with me? Fantastic. And that's an ILL between two institutions. Groups, so say you could use a group for anything you want to, but a classic example is a group for a consortium. And then, yeah, joining two groups together so they can do ILL between them. We like it that it's your data, share it with whoever you like, and decide what you want to do with it, and decide if you want to take it away at any point. But I know there's lots of complications about this, so this is something I'd love to have deeper discussions with and to understand better. This is something that sings out to me as a nice way to connect people, but there's definitely pitfalls there to understand. That's gone a lot quicker than I was expecting it to. Any questions?
Are we recording? Should I?
Go for it.
Hi, this is Heidi Vix. I have a question. So I'm part of MOBIUS, and everything is integrated in Folio right now. So I can go in, I can do all my requests, well, my staff can, and do what they need to do. However, there are quite a few things that you have mentioned that we don't have, and I'm interested in how that rolls out. Is that all through, like, Mobius has to, I don't know, give it its blessing or something before it's rolled out to us? Or is it something where I can say, hey, we are really interested. Can we like be first adopters of like the student worker mode, like those types of things?
Being that you are the first adopters, we would generally go to you first, similar to what we've done with
first adoption.
Similar to what we did with the current functionality of admin for libraries.
Yeah.
You yourselves and Gil would be some of the first people to be beta testing.
Okay.
But yeah, it will just be rolled out as continuous improvements on the OpenRS platform.
Cheers. Thanks.
That said, so far, at least the process has been MCO does actually run through, test it, and then try to provide some feedback as well. And they're somewhat trying to get to the point where, you know what, we think this is good. This covers, the major use case and all the issues. This then can be rolled out. So it's not necessarily as soon as they're ready, it goes to you, but it goes to MCO first.
And Heidi, there was an email the other day, you may not have seen it. We're getting ready to send out another email to site coordinators saying that the staff requesting for like the student workers and the MCO, I'm sorry, the DCB admin for libraries is almost ready. So it should be, we hope within a few weeks or so, those will be out, but we have to collect emails and access points for all that to be set up. So it should be very, very soon.
Yeah, that's my bad. Do we use the two terms?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Behind you, Donna.
Here.
I was going to ask about the ILL app. Is it to be used in conjunction with some like, Iliad or Tapasa, or is it something meant to replace those kind of services?
Yeah, similar functionality to those services rather than with those services.
Thank you.
I'll pass around the mic. Standing.
So just to expand on that answer just a little bit, for the way we at GIL are thinking about this is that for some libraries, this is the potential to be an ILL replacement, right? We're not expecting that a University of Georgia large research institution is immediately going to be able to get there, but certainly for our libraries that are doing ILL less frequently, possibly for our public libraries, we think that it has the potential to be an ILL replacement. Do you want me to run it for you?
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Well, here's a practical idea. Are there any questions in the chat?
Oh, good point. Thank you.
Let me get there. No.
Doesn't look like there are. Thank you very much.